In case you needed a sign to call out of your 9 to 5 today and do nothing, this is it. So call out, girl. It's okay. I have to give myself grace in that area when it comes to mothering and raising her, because I'm raising myself at the same time. I'm reparenting myself in the ways that my heart needs, in the way that my inner child needs. So the more you pour into you, the more you can externally pour out into different places that you need to show up in. Welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Cassidy Janae, your favorite photographer, mama, and author. So today I want to talk about rest. It's a really trending topic in this society of self-care. So let's talk about rest today. I really want to talk about rest today because for me personally, burnout has been like up here. Like, I'm not even gonna lie to y'all, it's been through the roof. And I feel like society pressures us to continue to show up and go to work and get the money, go on the grind, do what you gotta do. But like, if you aren't prioritizing your physical, your mental, emotional, and spiritual rest, you are going to burn out very, very quickly, and you're not going to be able to show up in other areas of your life if you're continuing to just put all your energy into just one thing. My energy is in multiple places at once. I work full time. I'm a mom. I have a photography business. I have a book out. I just got finished releasing. So that's been a process. So especially when it comes to motherhood in particular, and I can make a lot of more videos on motherhood if you guys would like me to do that, if I have any other mamas that are watching this video. But burnout in motherhood is it is so easy to burn out because you're continuously pouring into another little human that is consuming all of your time and your energy. From the moment you open your eyes, it's mommy, to the time you go to bed, it's mommy, and I'm just like, oh my god, I'm just like, Lord, just for a second, I just need a break. I just need a little bit of a break. And it is completely okay to take that rest. And society really shames moms for taking a rest when we need it. And we shouldn't be so consumed in motherhood being our identity that we don't prioritize ourselves, because we were us before they were here. And ever since I had my daughter, I've learned along the way. My daughter is 2.5 years old, so I've learned throughout these 2.5 years what self-care means for myself and being a mom, and how to balance her and myself at the same time, along with my business of photography, my writing, my actual full-time 9-to-5 job. And it hasn't been easy, I'll tell you that, but it has been something that I've had to learn to figure out, because if I didn't learn to figure that out, y'all, I would be down in the slumps, like out of energy, not being able to show up for her in the ways that I need to. And I full-heartedly believe that, because society likes to tell us, put your kids first, your kids come first, and I agree to an extent, but I feel as though we as moms need to put ourselves first, because if we aren't good, they're not going to be good. And if they don't have a healthy, happy mom, it's gonna show up in the way that you parent. And when we feel good about ourselves, moms, when we have a full day of self-care, pampering, we wake up, do our skincare, listen to some music, light a candle, like exfoliate, shave our legs, we're just like, oh yeah, I'm a new woman. Like, I can do anything and everything. Like, we just have this different level of energy and mental capacity that we can put into our kids when we put ourselves first. And that's what I mean by putting ourselves first before your kids, because if our cup isn't full, there's no way that we can pour into theirs. So that might be a controversial topic between in the social media world, but that is kind of how I go about motherhood. And it might not always be received the best way from people that might be in your life, and I understand how that might be hard for you to show up for yourself when you have ears, mouths left and right in your ear about you shouldn't do that, like don't do that. Well, I didn't do that when I was a parent. And as a mom, as a young mom, I'm 20, what was my age? I'm 23. I had my daughter when I was 21. So as a young mom, it really does, a young mom trying to break generational curses, for one, is a lot to carry. It really is. And especially as you're learning to heal your inner child along with raising your child, it is something, it's an invisible load that we don't talk about often. And if you don't know what an invisible load is being a mom, people contribute like a lot of the motherhood task as being physical, tangible things, as laundry, dropping the kids off here and there, going to doctor's appointments, cooking food. But the invisible load takes up so much mental capacity in your brain that it often goes unnoticed by people. And it is the space we take up in our heads with the multiple billion things of tasks that we have to do for our kids, for ourselves, and it just kind of consumes us. And that's how that burnout comes in very, very quickly. So even in the case of breaking generational trauma and trying to parent different than how your parents raised you, it really does take a lot of self-reflection and strength to do so, because you have a lot of people telling you that's not right, you shouldn't do it that way. But I can do it that way. That's the way that I want to do it. That's the way I'm choosing to do it. I necessarily didn't care for some of the ways that I was raised, and I'm choosing to do differently with my daughter. And I'm learning to heal my inner self, my inner child, to show up for her in the best way that I can. Because I often do sometimes find myself showing up in the ways that my parents may have shown up for me as a kid, and not in like the best way. And I try not to beat myself up over it when I see that coming out in ways that I might interact or parent my daughter. But I have to realize that it's something that's been hardwired into how I show up in this world, that I'm learning to break every day as we go, so I have to give myself grace in that area when it comes to mothering and raising her, because I'm raising myself at the same time. I'm reparenting myself in the ways that my heart needs, in the way that my inner child needs. I really try to look at the ways that I don't want her to experience in her childhood that I did, that I can see how it's manifested into my adult life, into the ways that I show up in the world, and ways that I show up in friendships, relationships, that I don't want her to experience in any kind of way. Burnout in motherhood has really been something that I've been trying to navigate the best way that I can, you know what I mean? But we're all new to this. Like, motherhood is something that you learn as you go. No matter how many kids that you have, it's a different experience every time. I have one kid, but I believe it's a different experience each time, because you're going to be in a different season of your life with the next kid and the next kid. And every kid has a different personality that takes a different level of showing up in the ways that they need, in the ways that, you need to learn to parent differently. So I believe that motherhood takes a different level of self-care. So that's why I'm big on, because as a creative, also being a mom, being a creative, us creatives take a different level of rest, I feel, because we use a different part of our brain that needs a level of resting to be able to show back up in. Like, I don't know the science behind it, but logically to me, it just makes sense that everybody has a creative side to them, right? But as a creative that actively is in that space every single day, like their brain just thinks in that way all the time, I feel as though we need a level of resting and stillness than maybe the average person does. So working a 9-to-5 for me, it drains me physically, it drains me creatively, mentally, and I need days where I don't want to be there. So I called out today because I was tired and I had things to do and I don't have enough time after work to do those things. And then the weekends just fly by. Doing mom stuff, I'm doing stuff for me. Like, I'm trying to do all these things at once in a short amount of time. I woke up today and I was like, I need to just rest. So I woke up, called out, and I took another 3-hour nap. Not another, but I slept for another 3 hours, and my body needed that so bad, y'all, so bad. You have to learn to be still, and I wholeheartedly believe it takes a level of self-awareness to know how to be still in a world of chaos, in a world of constant go, 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 you know what I mean? And I've learned that it wasn't easy to get to that point of learning when to just chill out and not always needing to be doing something or showing up in the way that is typical to show up in, like going to work, doing what you got to do. But some days it's okay to wake up and be like, I can't today. I need to just call out and take my day. So it's okay to call out, wake up, make your morning coffee, journal, read, pray, whatever that is to you. That is still showing up. Showing up isn't conducive to the traditional space of going to work. No, that's what we're talking about in the sense of 9 to 5 and that creative life and that balance that we need to have as creatives. It is okay to do that because you're still showing up. You're just showing up in a different way. You are pouring back into yourself to be able to pour out externally. So the more you pour into you, the more you can externally pour out into different places that you need to show up in. A way I love to be still is journaling. I love to journal. I love to write. I'm an author, so I mean, I love to write. I love to read. I love, listening to music, lighting some incense, some candles. That's a way of decompressing for myself. And especially for me lately, I've been in a season of transition as far as navigating my creative pursuits. Like I just published a book. I just been doing a lot of not a lot, but I've been doing some photography things that has been taking some of my energy. And ever since August up until November, I've been on go when it comes to my creativity, and I just needed a space of rest. And when I take those days for myself to just sit still and even doing nothing, I can feel my soul, my spirit replenishing throughout my day when I take that time that I need. These jobs truly don't care about you. I'm going to tell you that right now. You're easily replaceable. And I feel like we give so much to these jobs that we neglect ourselves. We neglect our own potential businesses. We neglect our own entrepreneurship things that we want to do. And for me, my long-term goal is to pursue an entrepreneurial lifestyle. I don't want to work a 9 to 5 the rest of my life. I truly know I'm not built for that. And I feel like lately I've just been getting a lot of confirmations and a lot of things that I've been feeling that God has been placing on my heart that a 9 to 5 isn't in my path. And there's various reasons why I feel that way, and we can get into that in another video when we talk about like purpose and things like that. If you want to know more about like my thought process on that, you can just leave a comment down below and I'll love to make a video on that. I want to pursue the calling I feel like God has on my life, which is my writing, my photography, being a inspiration, a place of healing, a place of love, a place of just overall like making people feel seen by what I do, making people feel like they have that safe space in my creativity for them to show up in and feel that they can kind of just let go whatever that is. So as far as my photography, like I want to give people a space to kind of let go this mask that they might be putting on in front of everybody. And I want my space when I'm doing shoots with people to feel like they can kind of be their authentic self in front of me for themselves, be able to show up in a different way that they feel like they haven't been able to. And as far as my writing, like, I want people to feel they can heal their hearts, they can heal their soul by reading the things that I write, by sitting down here and talking to them in a way that they might need. I want people to feel that the things that they've held on to for so long is something they're able to release by the things that by the words that I speak, by the words that I write. And I want that to be the space I provide for people. And I truly feel as though God has placed me in that purpose of healing, that space of helping people tap into that part of themselves that they haven't found a space for. So that is why To the Girls That Need It is a space for people that, particularly women, but men too, if you're here. Like I have a lot of men tell me that they resonate with a lot of the things that I say. So, I'm inclusive, but specifically talking to the women that I usually gear towards, I wanted To the Girls That Need It to be that safe space, to be that space of shedding, that space of releasing, the space of healing. And that's why I feel like for me, I have to prioritize being still, even as a full-time worker, like knowing that working in a 9-to-5 isn't my purpose. Working in a 9-to-5 isn't the calling I know God placed on my life. I have to do my part as far as pouring back into my heart, into my soul, to be able to produce the things that I know I've been called to produce to resonate with you guys. So that's why for me, I'm really big on that, like being still in a world full of chaos. It really takes learning to shut out the outside noise and tapping back into you. Now, over this last year, I've definitely learned to tap more into myself and the ways that I need to show up in my purpose. And being still has done a lot for me, and learning to sit in my solitude, for one, has been a big part of my healing journey. It has been a big part of resting, because I know some people around me consider me otherwise, but I feel as though I really, not all the time, but I do consider myself to be a little bit more of an introvert, just a little bit, not like a full on, like in my cocoon. So maybe I'm like an introverted extrovert, I don't know, but as somebody that really enjoys her space and that enjoys not talking to people all the time, and I'm usually sometimes tend to be that person where you might be with a group of people and I might just be quiet. There might be literally nothing wrong with me. I'm just quiet. Like, I just like to observe. I just like to listen to people talk. I like to take in what people say, and I might just be in my own little world. That's me. So I feel like for me, that's why rest and solitude is important with the craft that I do. As far as writing, I have to have a moment for myself to be able to give back to people. I can't always be entertaining all these different energies around me. Like, I have to be able to like bring that back in and like focus that onto me. You have so much energy around you from other people. When so many different people have access to you, it's going to show up in the ways that you don't want it to, especially if you're creative and you have to pour back into your craft. You have to be able to block out energy, external energy, and bring it from yourself. When I have my energy in too many places or too many people have access to me, I am creatively and emotionally drained. Like I literally cannot, like, it just affects my creativity, and I need a moment of solitude to really pour back out in the way that I know I'm meant to. That's why for me also, my single season has been really, really good. Some days, no, it hasn't. But overall, it's been really good. Like the solitude of just sitting in my space and being able to write from a certain space that I needed to write in, because I didn't have all this noise around me from whoever maybe I was dating, just that whole world of dating, and being able to bring that back in and pour that out into my writing, into my craft, has definitely shown up. This is just my overall reminder and message to you to be still, to learn to just focus and recenter to yourself, especially for my creatives, especially for my moms, because you have to show up, and we're constantly showing up, and I'm proud of you if you are in that space of not wanting to show up, but you do. Everyone deserves rest, everyone deserves stillness, but like coming from a place of being a mom, being creative, yeah, rest and stillness is so needed. You don't have to show up how people want you to show up. This is your life, okay? And you know what's best for you. You know what you're being called to do. And if you don't, that's okay. Like I didn't always know what I was called to do, but over this past year, I've definitely been redirected to that, and I thank God for that, because I've had I've had some situations that have redirected me back to my purpose, or just let me see what my purpose was, and I'm thankful for that, even in the situations that weren't really fun. It's okay. It's allowed me to really like see life in a different way, where I'm like, all this outside noise doesn't matter. The way people feel about the way I live my life, the way people might feel about how I'm a parent, the way people might feel about how I show up in different settings, I don't care. I don't care. I don't know how that sounds, but I really don't care. And I have learned to love myself in a different capacity when I've learned to be still. I have learned a lot about myself in the season of stillness, in the season of transition, that I wouldn't have learned being here and there, up, down, left, right. Like I would not have learned that by constantly being on go. So it is okay to take that rest. It is okay to pour back into your soul. It's okay to pour back into your spirit in the ways that you need to, whatever that is for you. Everybody has their different methods of pouring back into themselves, but find what works for you and pour back into yourself, because you will uncover so much about yourself in that stillness versus that constantly showing up. So even if you're working, and I know in this economy it is hard to just not work, I should have maybe went to work, for the money, but like money comes and goes, but your mental and your emotional, when that's gone, when that is like not where it should be, it takes time to get that back. Money, you can get that real fast, but prioritizing that mental and emotional space and spiritual space that you have to be in to show up for yourself in a healthy way every day, that's not something you can just pull out the bag. Like you have to be intentional about the way you pour into yourself and the way you show up for yourself and the way you can block out the noise of such a chaotic world and be with yourself. Be still, learn to rest, learn to just not always be on go. And I wholeheartedly believe that you will learn what you want out of life in that season of stillness. And one last thing before we go, as I've been talking about in this video, and if you've watched my other videos, I am an author. I have recently published a book. So my book, For the Lover Girls, is newly released. It is a poetry book. It is a book that has a collection of poems that I've personally written, personal experience, and it is just a space of healing that I've actively healed as I was writing this, and it was something I felt called to share with you guys and just with the world. The God placed that on my heart to not keep this for myself. So, it's a space of vulnerability. It's a space of feeling seen, and I feel like a lot of the things that I wrote in here would resonate with a lot of people in a lot of different ways, because a lot of the concept and topic of these poems have to do with love and heartbreak, and self-worth and your inner child. So I wanted to create something that would resonate with people. And it wasn't that I created it to purposely resonate. I just think by my experiences, it naturally just resonates with people, because it's not it's not just a one-time experience for me, and I know so many other people go through these things. So this space is love. This space is healing. If you're someone that loves to journal, there's about 15 or 20 journaling prompts in here with guided questions. So as you read through this, it's broken up into sections, and these questions are really intentional. They're really purposeful. They're not just la-di-da-di-da questions. They're really intentional questions to tap into yourself, to navigate whatever your heart needs to release and to let go of, and to learn parts of yourself. So I wanted to create this to be something that allowed you to actively heal and allowed you to tap into your healing. And I have affirmations throughout here, so it's a really unbiasedly, it is a really good book, I would say. And it is available for purchase on my website, To the Girls That Need It. I'll put it in the description box. Yeah, you can purchase this on my website. I'll also link my Instagram down below, so you can stay updated as far as anything about me, anything about my book, anything about my writing, my future books. So all the things are on my Instagram, but To the Girls That Need It will be where you can purchase this. With that being said, it is your girl Cassidy Janae, and until next time, bye loves.